The town of Hollow Creek was old, older than time itself, some folks claimed. Mia, a bright-eyed girl of 12, always felt a strange chill as she walked its cobblestone streets. Maybe it was the wind whistling through the gnarled branches of ancient oaks, or maybe it was the whispers. They seemed to slither from the very walls of the buildings, whispers that sounded suspiciously like her name. Mia lived in a creaky Victorian house at the edge of town with her parents. Mia approached the mirror cautiously. It was strangely alluring, beckoning her closer. She reached out a hesitant hand, its reflection wavering in the dusty glass. The attic seemed to hold its breath, the silence broken only by the rustle of unseen creatures. With a deep breath, Mia pulled the tapestry away, revealing the mirror in its entirety. The mirror was taller than Mia, its ornate frame carved with strange symbols that seemed to writhe in the dim light. The glass itself was cloudy, obscuring the reflection. Mia frowned, wiping away the dust with her sleeve. As she did so, a cold shiver ran down her spine. The reflection wasn't quite right. Instead of her own image, a shadowy figure stared back. Its edges were blurred, indistinct, but there was something undeniably menacing about its vacant eyes. Mia stumbled backward, heart pounding in her chest. She blinked, but the shadowy figure remained. It seemed to be getting closer. Terror, cold and sharp, pierced through Mia. She couldn't tear her gaze away from the figure in the mirror. Its edges were slowly becoming sharper, the darkness coalescing into a horrifying visage. The eyes, now piercing and cruel, held her captive. Mia wanted to scream, to run, but her legs felt like lead. The figure in the mirror stretched out a hand, its fingers long and skeletal. A low, guttural voice, like stones grinding together, whispered from the mirror's depths. "Mia!" She ripped her gaze from the mirror, stumbling back until she slammed into a cobweb-laden trunk. Panic seized her. She scrambled to her feet, tripping over a chipped porcelain doll, and fled the attic. Downstairs, in the familiar warmth of the kitchen, Mia tried to calm her racing heart. Her parents, engrossed in their evening paper and a crossword puzzle, didn't notice her shaken state. "Mom, Dad," Mia began, her voice trembling, "there's something in the attic." Her parents barely looked up. "Just cobwebs and dust bunnies, dear," her mother said, not taking her eyes off her crossword. Her father grunted in agreement, turning the page of his newspaper. Mia insisted, describing the shadowy figure, the chilling voice. Her parents exchanged amused glances. "It was just your imagination, honey," her father chuckled, patting her head. But that night, as Mia lay in bed, she heard them, the whispers. They snaked under her bedroom door, slithered through the keyhole. "Mia, come back, join us." Fear, thick and suffocating, filled the room. Sleep was impossible. The next morning, armed with a flashlight and her dad's hammer, Mia crept back to the attic. The air was still and heavy, the silence almost deafening. She approached the cheval mirror cautiously, each creak of the floorboards sounding like a scream in the stillness. But as she neared the corner where the mirror stood, her blood ran cold. The mirror was different. Gone was the tarnished frame, the cracked glass. It now gleamed, the gilded frame pristine, the glass crystal clear. And in its reflection, Mia saw not a shadowy figure, but herself. Except this reflection was smiling. "Come closer, Mia." The reflection beckoned, her voice as sweet as honey. "Don't be afraid, it's time to come home." The reflection stretched out a hand, her fingers long and slender, tipped with delicate nails that glinted in the dim light. Mia found herself drawn to the mirror, mesmerized by the reflection's hypnotic gaze. The smile was so inviting, so familiar. It felt like coming home after a long journey. She reached out a hand, her fingers trembling slightly. As her fingers touched the cool surface of the glass, a jolt of energy surged through her body. The mirror rippled, the reflection wavering like water disturbed by a stone. The attic disappeared, replaced by a swirling vortex of darkness. Mia cried out, reaching for something, anything to hold on to, but it was too late. The darkness swallowed her whole. The mirror returned to its pristine state, reflecting nothing but the dusty attic and a single ray of sunlight. Silence descended once more, broken only by the soft ticking of an old grandfather clock downstairs. Mia's parents found the attic door ajar later that day. "Mia!" her mother called out, her voice echoing in the stillness. They found the cheval mirror, its surface cracked in a spiderweb pattern. "That's odd," her father muttered, brushing his fingers against the cracked glass. "Don't remember it being broken before." A cold draught swirled through the attic, rustling the faded tapestry. And then they heard it. A soft giggle echoing through the attic, chilling them to the bone. It was Mia's laugh, but twisted, filled with a chilling delight they'd never heard before. They never saw Mia again. The whispers in Hollow Creek seemed to grow louder, more insistent, and sometimes, when the moon was full and the wind howled through the ancient oaks, one could almost make out a young girl's laughter echoing on the breeze.